glad you made it. Pull up a chair. Pull up a chair. This is where your faith gets activated. Hey!
From your car right to your kitchen, from the office to your street. If you're tired, if you're searching, there's a welcome at the seat. Got some laughter, got some truth, got a fire we can't contain. Sit down like family, leave standing up change, oh yeah. Welcome to the porch and the pulpit, where the real talk meets the word, where your story.
Come on in. Come on in. Yeah, we're glad you made it. Pull up a chair.
Welcome to the Porch and the Pulpit, where faith meets community. I'm Cheryl.
And I'm James. Hey, so check it out. I'm really excited. We want you guys to pull up a chair and join us for this conversation that we're going to be having on this podcast tonight. And I am so happy that you are here joining us. But tonight we have two special people with us. First, my nephew, James Avery Boyd, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself. And also we have with us LaShanta Luff, my goddaughter, and the daughter of and Cheryl's daughter. So we want to hear from them, and then we're going to jump right in to our relationship talk. So LaShanta, you up first. Tell us about yourself, a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm LaShanta, go by Lala. I grew up a Christian. I've been in church all my life. Honestly, that's all I know is church, sleep, work. I'm my youngest daughter. I think everyone that I grew up around was strictly church. But I can say I've been in a few ministry as a kid, and honestly, that ministry is what gave me my voice. So now I just use like my past and like everything I've been through, everything I was taught in church, and just try to use it and minister to others through my job and my career paths.
Nice. You're the original church there. Okay. So
Yep.
Mr. Boyd, my nephew, what's up,
Yes,
buddy?
sir.
Tell us about yourself, man.
I don't know if I'm a top Lala, but pretty much I grew up in church as well. I could be considered a PK, I guess, in a
Nice.
sense. My step pops is a preacher, pastor, bishop. My mom's is a deaconess. Also the president of the choir. I was a drummer boy in church. I was an usher in church. I was on the choir in church. And yeah, I mean, I just regular work. You know, just a 35-year-old man just trying to find life, pretty much.
35-year-old man. Okay, so you had your episode of being a preacher's kid, with your stepdad hooping and hollering, and then you got your mama doing the same thing. So we are so happy to have these two young people with us, young adults, navigating their way through life. And Cheryl, tonight, what we're going to be talking about on tonight's podcast?
So tonight we're going to be starting our relationship series, and we wanted to start out with having our two guests on the podcast tonight because we've talked about it when we first started the podcast. James has been married for 17, almost going on 18 years.
About 17
and
going on 18.
Yeah, 17 going on 18 years. And I was married 17 and going on 18, and I'm a widow now. And I'm not even trying to be in the dating scene because it's the thing. So we wanted to get the younger people's perspective on dating, and we wanted to start off with that in our series. So that's why we have the two guests on today. So we just wanted to see what it's like with them and the dating scene and things out here, things that they learn, things that they don't like, things that they like, and start the conversation off. So Avery, I'm gonna throw this question out to you. What does dating look like to you now at your age and your generation? Is there a difference between dating and courtship?
Um, there is. I would specifically say, as far as like dating, you're pretty like you're vetting or seeing, if the person that you're taking on a date, someone that you might be really interested in. That's the process of dating. As far as courting, that's more if you're taking a liking. You're pretty much trying to take things further with this person. Like you've been talking for a while. If you're courting them, you're trying to just get the feel to see if that's somebody that you can potentially see yourself with in the near future, for the most part.
Okay. All
All
righty.
right.
That's good.
All
La,
right.
what's your take on it, on dating, La? Uh,
For me, I guess I'm a little bit outside of the generation. Because what some would say dating is actually going out with multiple people. As far as me, I cannot spread my attention to multiple people, but I would go out with someone and just date that person. As far as courting, I'm just praying that, we're just pursuing each other. I know that may sound like exclusivity, but me personally, I just choose to not put my attention in multiple places, but other people may do that.
Want to be focused on one relationship at a time rather than having rather than dating multiple people at the same time. That's easier for you.
It's easier for me as far as, okay, let me see if I'm interested in a person. We could maybe go out to the movies or something, see how the vibes are, see, if we have any similarities. If that doesn't work out, then okay, we just decide, this is maybe not for us. And I just take some time to myself, and then maybe sometime later or a different time, then I'll probably maybe try to see if I'm interested in someone else. But yes, I do one person at a time.
so how does this start and date? I mean, how does the dating start? So, are you swipe? Did somebody come up to you, or and they ask you out, or ask to get your number, or how does this whole process start? La, I'm gonna start with you, and then I'm gonna ask Avery. How does he go up to somebody or whatever and pursue them? So, La.
Well, I can tell you, I don't walk up to people. That's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I actually grew up on the he who findeth person. I see myself as right now working on myself too.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Because like for me right now, while I'm in my singleness, I'm focusing on my singleness and growing as an individual, because I don't want to be like, oh, I want a husband. I say I want to be a wife one day. So I'm saying, like, I don't approach people. I just let them approach me, and depending on how they approach me depends on how I move accordingly. If you sit here and try to say, hey, shorty, you're speaking to the wrong person, respectfully, I decline. Please keep it pushing. Like, I run on respect. I run on standards. As far as the dating app, I tried Facebook dating, but I felt like it was a catfish. They'll say Christian in their bio, but they still flashing money, throwing up, signs and stuff, and a lot of cursing. Nope. They have all the rap songs inside there too, but no Christian music. So I don't know where the Christian part falling at. I think it was just a title for itself, but not really the lifestyle. So for me, I guess it's more so of I'll just wait until I guess someone approach me, kind of thing.
Okay. So, Avery, what do you think? What's your thought?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's more of a feeling type of thing. You would know if, a woman is approachable by the way her body language is, pretty much. Like if she looks at you a certain way or she says something to you, that's a sign right there that she's interested in you. You should probably walk up to her, approach her, introduce yourself, and, see where it goes from there. I'm not really a fan of, I guess, online dating per se. I'm more of a hands-on, in-person type of deal. That's really not my forte. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, a woman would pretty much let you know through like her body language and stuff if she's willing to be approached by you, or she's looking for you to approach her or
All
whatnot.
right. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So I have two questions. We gonna go a little bit deeper, okay? So don't get mad at your godfather / uncle, okay? We're gonna go a little bit deeper, okay? First, this is one that's gonna have you guys like laughing a bit. Who should pay for the first date? Anybody can jump in there.
um so honestly, I feel like as a man, if you are really interested in this woman, like it should be no question as to who should pay. I mean, if you courting her and you really see a future with this person, I don't think that should be an issue. I think nowadays, it's a little bit different. Like it's more universal. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's good to offer up as generosity, without feeling entitled. Like, oh, you the man, you should pay the bill, whatever like that. It shouldn't be something, you shouldn't automatically just throw that on a person. I mean, this conversation that could be had through, when you're talking to each other before leading up to the date. Like you can kind of fill it out and see exactly how. If you're looking to court this woman, like you should pay. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Doesn't make
Right.
me feel any type of way. And
Right.
that's the intention that I'm going in with it anyway. Like, I'm looking to pay regardless.
So, if I have a question for you, do the very first date. So you meet a young lady and you ask her out on the date. Do you guys have a conversation to say, okay, we're gonna go Dutch, or do you automatically assume that responsibility of paying for the bill, or do you have
So
like you said, a conversation prior to?
so the conversation is definitely had. Um, like for instance, I recently went on a date to Pan and Sip. I was this girl from my job, and she had came on to me and she asked me out or whatnot, and when she had mentioned where she wanted to go, I said okay, that's fine. So we wound up going to the Pan and Sip, and I paid for the Pan and Sip, and then she paid for the restaurant.
Mhm.
I paid for the Pan and Sip portion, so it's like you split. You
So
know,
it was a split because
that
she
was that was
approached you.
discussed.
She approached you with the asking for a date.
Right, yeah, because we exchanged numbers, so yeah, we kind of mingle, yeah, together like a
Right.
little connection, whatever, like that. And then
Okay.
she asked me for my age, and then she asked me, like my schedule, like what I'm
Hmm.
seeking, this, that, and the third. And
Okay.
yeah, we went from there for the most part. Yeah, as far as the paying part, yeah. So it depends on, like I said, if you discuss this beforehand,
Hmm.
and that's something that both of y'all can agree upon,
Hmm.
to kind of not create any type of uh uncomfortableness or anything like that when
Hmm.
the bill comes into play.
So, LaShanta, you're gonna open up your pocketbook and get your credit cards out to pay for this date. What you doing?
So honestly, I don't mind offering to pay, but I do think if a guy's being intentional when it comes to like trying to see where we can take things, that it would be nice if he just take the lead and just pay. But I am the type of woman that sometimes would offer to pay, especially if we go to multiple places. Like Avery said, they had a conversation like, okay, hey, we're gonna pay, and so he paid for that, but she paid for something else. I've been out before where so I pay for the movies and somebody pay for the restaurant. Like we was able to split it. And sometimes they don't even have to be a conversation. If you actually vibing with the person, it naturally just happens. Where
That's
okay,
it.
I
Hmm.
see the man is just
Um,
attentional with me. Okay, cool. I see that he got me covered. Then the least I can do is also pay that same responsibility back, and just be generous as well.
hmm
Hmm. So I'm gonna put it like this: both of you are Christians, right? Grew up in the church and those
hmm
types of things. Do you think Christians should date? And
I have nothing against people that are not Christian. Some people have their own path, their own journey. However, like I said, I grew up in church. That's all I've known as Christian. Like my mom, she was active in church. My dad is a reverend. Like I've no church. Church is my language. Like that's the lifestyle I'm striving after.
Mhm.
I'm working on my personal journey where my lifestyle just consists of me being at church. I'm at church on Sundays if I don't have to work. I'm doing Bible study at home. I'm dedicating a lot of my time, making sacrifices and being intentional about my journey. So being with someone that's not there, that's not a Christian, it's kind of hard because when we talk about being equally yoked, it's kind of
Mhm.
impossible. Well, I don't want to say it's impossible. It's kind of makes it challenging to then now navigate a relationship where we're in two different paths. Like I want to say I want a relationship where it also comes with actually what you want in your relationship. Me, I know I want somebody I could pray with, somebody that could cover me, especially with the job I have. I need someone my man's gonna make sure he gonna pray for me. I get back home safely because I'm in
Mhm.
two male dominated careers. if my
Yes.
man's not covering me at home, and how is I expect him to lead the household? Like, who's leading you for me to be like, okay, I can submit to you to lead the household. So me personally, he has to be a Christian.
Okay. So, what's your thoughts?
I'm different. I mean, I would prefer for it to be a Christian, but not necessarily that they have to be a Christian. Um, some woman that I talked to, like for instance, somebody I was talking to, I asked her, "Would you like to read the Bible?" And we saw the Bible plan, and just to fill it out, just to see what her thoughts is. She's not a Christian per se, like she's not a religious person,
Mm-hmm.
but just to see if she was actually going to read the Bible with me to see if she wanted to, like, if she was interested in doing that. She actually was. We didn't get far though. We only got like 3 days to read the
Right.
Bible. But just to see her perspective on things, just to see, where her head was at, how grounded she was. I would prefer a Christian, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. No.
You have to be that way.
So since we talking and we have two different perspectives because I like Avery have feel somewhat kind of like that because when when I met my husband, he wasn't, yes, his mother was a pastor and everything like that, but he wasn't going to church on a regular because I was intentional about how I was, then he was intentional about who he was. He knew he wasn't going to see me any place but in the church. So that's where he had to meet me. So I kind of
Mm-hmm.
believe that what Avery is saying, but I also understand what La is saying because she's intentional that she wants to be in the Christian scene and things like that. So my question is, so, you're both intentional when you're going out to date and you know what you want. When you see that the person is not, down that path, how do you go about seeing if a person is intentional about what they want? In the because we're in a time now where it's a lot of online or texting and things like that and not face-to-face communication. So you people can tell you a whole lot while they're texting you and everything like that, but unless you're going out with them on a regular, you don't get to really see how they are. So how do you navigate that situation when we're in a day of everything is on, sliding in the DMs
Mhm.
and everything like that? How do you navigate that? And
So for one, I mean, we can text to an extent, but I'll let you know off rip that I would rather see you in person. Like I don't do the texting, the back and forth. I don't play tennis. So I want to see you in person, face to face, type of thing. FaceTime is cool, but I'd rather have that in person interaction with you. Because it's more organic that way. I feel like when you texting, you thinking too much, and it doesn't flow. As organically as it should, as opposed to if you want to see that person that person, in the flesh and be able to connect with them, you know, while you see them in person, it'll be a different type of like authenticity. Like nothing will be, in between. Like there's no boundaries. I feel like that gets in the way sometimes. Too much of it. There's nothing wrong with texting, but it comes to a point where it's like, all right, like
You want to get
we
that
meeting out, we gonna
personal
see each other.
touch,
Yeah,
that
yeah. We
personal
want the
touch.
personal, connection. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
La.
Missy,
I'm
up.
not a texter,
What's
so
up?
I'll just tell you that right now. I can't do the texting. I'll go to sleep while you texting. Not even trying to be rude, but I'm already in the vehicle for 12 hours. It's hard to text anyway. So I just can't do the texting. A lot of, especially when you have a certain type of conversations, a lot of things get misinterpreted. So I feel like
Yeah.
it's better to actually see like the reactions and be in person to have certain conversations and see how they are. You can't really feel vibes through a text message. You can't feel it
Exactly.
through
Right.
social media. I know some people are maybe limited to that depending on what kind of relationship you have, like if it's a long distance relationship. But I think that's really important. That's why you set the time and be intentional about meeting up from time to time whenever I can. But you have to make that time and put in the effort to do so and stick to that time that was set.
I want to throw something out there. So I'm into social media. So James knows that one of the reasons why I started the podcast is because I see
Yes.
a lot of
Yes.
things on
Yes.
social media. When you're talking about dating, so again, we gave the definition of dating and courting and things like that. So, what was your view on dating? Because I know you said that you like to just have one person and not be, talking to
Putting my
different
eggs in multiple
people.
baskets. Yeah.
Right. So back in our day, that was dating. Dating was talking to different people to see exactly who you liked or you wanted to
Yeah,
then have a
yeah.
courtship with. So we see that a lot of people now that they are doing the dating thing, the dating scene and going out on multiple dates like that. And so on social media, we're starting to see women that go out on dates and
Mhm.
then you take them out. Is there a limit that you have when you go out on a date, especially with the fact that you're dating and things like that? Uh,
No, I don't think you should spend X amount of dollars. I think it's more of the thoughtfulness that really counts. I mean, you can always a day can be something so simple as walking in the park. Like, it ain't gotta be nothing extravagant, or anything like that. You ain't gotta go to a rooftop, lighthouse. You don't have to do any of those things. You could, like, something that's, I don't know, take the ferry or something, like something that's out of the ordinary. Something that would strike her as something, like, that say that you're interesting, and you think outside the box. It's not just, one straightforward thing. Um as far as like expenses and stuff like that, uh you're alluding to, like, how much should one spend on a date, or what's acceptable, or something like that. That's
mhm.
what you mean?
Yes.
Um yeah,
Yeah.
so
Is it an amount that's just too much?
So so
so
Yeah.
so
I
so let,
mean,
let, let, me- let
the,
me let me break it down for you. So you can kick with it. I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring it home for you. Waffle House or the steakhouse?
see,
Ooh, depends on the day.
it depends. It really depends on the girl and the men's perspective.
Okay.
It depends on
So
the
it
woman
depends
that
on the
you're.
girl and those types of things. So
Yeah, that's
so
that's a big factor, because if you're
yeah.
really trying to leave an impression, or somebody that you're really interested in, um, you're serious about them, you want to take them to, like, some rinky dink,
The first date, right? First date.
right?
First date. So this time we flow on the porch in the pulpit. First date, right? Are you trying to be your impressive self, Lashanta? Or or are you trying to be your authentic self? Who are you trying to be on that first date?
Nah,
You trying
Are
to
you
impress
asking
or
me?
you
that's
trying to
not.
be authentic?
Oh, I'm say authentic. I'm not gonna lie. Cause
Yeah,
usually people still put so much pressure on themselves trying to do the first impression, but you want somebody that's gonna accept you for who you are.
yeah.
So just being who you are, that's the only way they can see that. And then if I'm moving forward from there, if they decide to accept you for who you are, amazing. If not, find somebody who will accept you for who you are. Because if y'all talking about we're dating and being in a relationship to get married one day, he gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
see you how you are and the rawness of you, like exactly how your mind is, spiritually how you are, everything. So me personally, I'm just going as myself. I'm not. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself, especially in this dating world. They already come with so many requirements. We have enough pressure as it is. Just be your authentic self.
Okay, you're going out on a
Okay.
date, whatever you got, getting yourself together and those types of things. Do you feel pressure to making a first impression? What do you feel like there's too much pressure for the first date, so you keep it simple, or do you jump in first feet, or does it depend on the situation?
Honestly, just you gotta be authentic, for real. Just show your real personality. There's no need to, like, overshare or try to make yourself look good, or, like, try to, just be true to yourself. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
don't be swayed by the pressure to go along with something that you're not, that you're strongly against. Like, don't try to overcompensate or make yourself out to something that you're not, because in the long run, it's gonna come back to you. If
Yeah,
that's someone that you're constantly in touch with, and y'all seeking to have a relationship, um, that's just gonna build lies. Like, so from jump, be yourself, be authentic, and if that person is, on that same type of wavelength with you, then you can take it from there. But I wouldn't say, try to make an impression to an extent that, you're trying to make yourself into something that you're not. Like that's corny.
I have a question. You go out on a date and the date is not going so well. Give me the ideal worst date that you have been on and you were like, this is not going to work. How did you get out of that situation?
Yeah. I had a few. So a lot
You
of
and
my
Law
pet
like,
peeves or things that I don't like are off rip bad smells. Like if you smell, I might just leave you for real.
My God.
Like I ain't gonna, I'm not gonna hold you. If you like overly chauvinistic, being controlling, forceful, being rude to people, disrespectful, yeah, I can't tolerate that. Another thing that kills me is like you glued to your phone and you're not looking to engage in conversation. That's a red flag for me too. It's like, so why are we even on a date? If you're not interested in me, that's like more onto your phone. Then I mean, it's cool to answer text every now and again, but if we're on a date, we're supposed to be, conversating back and forth and getting to know one another. Another thing is like love bombing too early. And we just met, and you hit me
Okay.
tomorrow. You trying to get married tomorrow? It's like, what we doing? Nah, what were we doing? I just met you. I don't know you for real. So
We're
yeah,
going to have to
like
put that in the
that type of stuff.
T-shirt. Love bombing too early. That's going to be a T-shirt. Come on,
Yeah,
somebody.
that's Another
Yep,
thing I
that's
don't
what we
like is
don't miss.
being negative. Don't be a negative Nancy.
Ooh.
Everything is, try to work around certain things. Like everything ain't negative. Don't generalize all men and women. Like everybody's not in the same box. So
Listen now. Listen to
Okay,
listen to. I know you got some stories.
I know.
Let's go.
But okay. Honestly,
Bob,
my thing is, the main thing a female wants to see or a woman wants to see is that a guy is paying attention and listening. Like he's like attentive to what she's saying. Because 9 times out of 10, a woman would tell you the things that she likes. If you listen to her, women love to talk sometimes. They're very emotional. We would tell you the things that we're like, what we're interested in, the things we like want to do. So my thing is, if you're gonna take me on a date, take me to some place that I like. Women, you have to really know the woman you're talking to. Some of these women, they don't like Waffle House. Me personally, depending on the type of mood I'm in, I'ma eat a nice little bacon, egg, and cheese melt. But I could also go to the steakhouse. But I also like walks in the park. My pet peeve is really when a guy's not attentive to the things I'm telling him. I had one guy take me out to a club with my best friend. It was like supposed to be like a double date. I don't know. And I can tell you right now, I was in my phone the entire time. I know that's a pet peeve, and I wanted it to be a pet peeve that day because if you listen to me, I don't like clubs. I don't do parties no more. I don't do any of that. I don't smoke. I don't drink. Why would you bring me to a club and everybody smoking, everybody drinking, and the music is loud? At this point, I was really uninterested and I didn't want to be there no more. I didn't drive, unfortunately. Because again, you take me to an environment that I'm not comfortable in. When you could have took me out to the park, we could have went bowling.
So was that a first date or was that a second date, third date?
It wasn't a first date. It was like this person was actually a friend. He's in law enforcement too. He works at another agency. More so of a okay, let's go hang out kind of thing because my best friend was in town. But it's still of the thing of if you say that you care, you should still be intentional where you take me to. Some women they want expensive things.
Right,
he knew me.
Right. He knew you, but he wasn't listening to you because otherwise he would have taken you to the club knowing that you from the chat.
Exactly. Right. But again, like there are women out here that put that pressure on men that they have to spend this much money. I'm not that type of woman. I value things in simple things. I like flowers. I like candles. I like walks in the park. We could go bike riding. We could ride the scooter. We could go for a run. We can even do a picnic. I've never done a picnic, but I want to do a picnic. But it really depends on the type of woman that you're dating. So me personally, I just know if you're not being attentive and listening to the things I'm telling you, then it's probably not going to work out because I'm going to tell you the things I like.
Right.
I do have one other question. My other question is, so La said that she's being intentional about who she's dating because she only wants to date a Christian. Avery is a Christian, but he's dating, people who are not Christians, or you're not specifically that they are Christian. So my question is to Avery. So because you are a Christian, is that in you dating a person who was not, is that it your intention that eventually they will become that you will be the catalyst for them being becoming a Christian? Or because the Bible talks, we one of the things that we talked about was about law mentioned about being unequally yoked.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
without a question.
Okay.
Hmm.
All righty. So, La, your intention is that you said you want to be a wife. Is it your intention that when you date someone that will then eventually be your husband?
Um, so I don't automatically go into dates like, oh yeah, you're gonna be my husband. That's not me, because I've seen a lot of men be like, well, God told me that you're gonna be my wife, and we see how that went. So, but me personally, I just try to see like the values that they bring. Don't even laugh, God. I just try to see that the values that they bring, their intention and their walk as well. I do have things that I do pay attention to see like if we're even compatible in some type of way. I just pray about it, but I don't automatically go into the first date and I'm like, oh yeah, you're my husband. That's not that.
Mhm. Okay. So,
Hmm.
so as we get ready to wrap this portion up, I just want to get one final thought from you guys, maybe a 30-second word for Christian singles who date. What would be your advice that you would give to Christian singles who date? Avery.
My advice is just be true to yourself. I mean, don't force nothing don't force the energy. I mean, if you're interested in this person and you feel like someone that you can build a relationship with, um, you know, just just go for it. I mean, don't think too much of it. It's too much thinking. You know what I mean? If you're interested in this person interested in you, and y'all want to take it to the next step, y'all want to take it further, you know, I would say just go for it. I mean, I don't have too much to say other than that.
All right, all right. Miss Lust, what you got?
I was agree, stay true to yourself, stay true to your faith. Don't let society dictate your relationship. Stop comparing your progress and your journey to other relationships, because they might be on a different journey. Plus, whatever you see on social media may not be exactly what's going on in reality. So also just pray about it, stay true to your faith, just be
Hmm.
yourself.
So, James, we had two guests on our show. We had Avery and we had LaShanto on the show, and they were discussing dating. And one of the reasons why we wanted to go into the aspect of dating is just because for some of the same things that we discussed already, when you're dating, you're trying to get to know someone, some of the things that come up and things that you go through in this whole life of dating and trying to get into a relationship with someone.
Hmm.
So I'm seeing, or starting to think, is that we don't know what we're in. Some people say they're dating, some people say, they're not, they're casually dating and things like that.
Hmm.
So I wanted to look into what is the real definition of dating and
Right.
things. So it says dating is a process of getting to know someone romantically through conversation, shared time, and experiences to see if you're compatible. Now, in
Hmm.
our day, that's exactly what we call dating. You you would
Yes.
go, yes, and it started out as dating. Dating was
Hmm.
you just either talking to somebody on the phone. We didn't have cell phones like this at our age. We didn't have cell phones until
So
much
they call them up
later.
on the phone.
Yeah, call them up on the phone or whatever. Or you send them notes in class and things, tell them you like them
Hmm.
and things. And
Yeah.
that's how it started. And you would just have conversation back and forth. And you weren't just tied to just one person. Dating was you were just, dating. You were just talking to different people so that you could
Hmm.
see, what you like, what you don't like, if it was somebody that you wanted to be
Right.
serious about, because you don't know
Hmm.
until you talk to people whether you know whether you want to be serious. So
Right.
nowadays, I think the whole thing with the dating aspect is that people are confused. We use
Yeah.
the word dating,
Yeah.
but they
Uh-huh.
yeah, they are
A whole
confused
different
because yeah,
definition.
whole different
Whole different
definition
definition.
now. It's right. There's no more just seeing how it is. You go
Yeah.
out on one date and you're in a relationship. Or,
Whole thing has changed. It's like, okay, so you went out on first date, you skip past the get to know you phase, you skip past all of that stuff, and all of a sudden, boom, you're dating. You get this idea like, okay, we're exclusive. There's all of the whole dynamic has
yes,
gone one way. And I think there's a reason why that those changes, have been made. That evolution, if you will, has taken place.
mm-hmm.
The mindset of people has changed over the years. Like you said, when we
Right,
were coming up, we'll get that number and we'll call them up before a certain time because you couldn't call after a certain time.
right,
It's not like in 3 o'clock in the morning, those types of things like that. You couldn't call after a certain time. And so, or if you're in the classroom and you passing those notes and do you like me? Check yes, check no, those types of things. But
right,
like I said, the whole thing has changed because the mindset of people have changed, and now dating can be in one box and saying, "Look, like we're dating," and then it leads to other things.
right.
Things to be could be expected off of that one date.
Exactly. That one encounter. Right. Exactly. Because people have different definitions of what it is. Like I looked into what is a situationship because we just dated and then we had a thing from dating. We went to courtship. Courtship meant that you was, really into somebody or whatever. And that was who you were exclusive with when you went to the courtship stage. Now I don't even think they have courtships. I don't know what it is.
I don't think people really know what courtship means.
Right,
Courting a
exactly.
person. Because courting and dating is akin. They're basically one and the same. It's just a different time when we use the term courting. You
Right,
know, it's the same way as you're getting to know a person. You go out, you have coffee, you meet at the diner, and or you pick them up from. The man usually comes to the girl's house and picks them up, and they'll go to the movies or they'll go for a walk, and they're getting to know one another. There's no preconceived notion as
exactly.
to uh, who this person is or what I want from this person, those types of things. Just getting to know them.
Right. So in our day, like I said, the courtship. What the definition of courtship is a traditional period of time where two people get to know each other with a very specific, deliberate goal in mind, marriage or a long-term committed relationship. So we used to have three categories. You dated,
Hmm.
then it went from dating, if you like the person or whatever, you said this is the person, then we went to courtship. And then from there, it got really serious, and then we went to marriage. Now we now I don't know what everybody's doing.
Everybody, I think people are jumping, they're jumping from one extreme to the next. Like you said, I'll backtrack just a little bit.
Hmm.
Because when you gave the definition of courtship, that's a step above dating because now you're basically exclusive.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I'll backtrack off of what I previously said.
Hmm.
Uh, the courtship is the phase after after dating. So
Hmm.
now you dated, you went on a few dates, and I guess you made a mutual decision that you want to see each other exclusively.
Right,
So there brings the courtship to where now you have an intention that you guys are exclusive. Like you read in the definition to have a long term relationship.
hmm
that could, I would say, could
Right.
eventually lead to marriage. Because
Marriage.
just because you have a long-term relationship doesn't always mean that you're going to get married, but you are exclusively linked to this person for a length of time. That means there's
Exactly.
no outside dating. There's no outside dating. There's just you and him, or him and her.
You're correct.
That's how that is. That
Right.
courtship. They're doing that
Right.
courtship phase.
Right. I thought it was very interesting because in the characteristics of courtship, it talks about high intentionality. That means that you are no, there's no guessing game. You put out there exactly what you want, what you don't, what you're looking
Mhm.
for and everything. That's what you put out there. You focus on values and character. You
Right.
also talk about community and family involvement and defined boundaries. Those are very good things if you're talking
And
about
that's the thing.
courtship.
And that's the thing that you want to know, because now you're saying, okay, so now my intention is that first we're exclusive. I'm not dating
Right,
anyone else. You're not
right,
dating anyone else.
exactly,
So now we
exactly.
got that nailed down. Okay.
Mhm,
So now we can make a plan. We can make solidified plans as to how far we want this relationship to go. So
exactly.
that is why now we go continue. We're continuing to getting to know you process, but now it's an
Mhm,
intentionality that we are exclusive one to another.
right,
So
exactly.
we're not out here playing the field, so to speak. You
Right,
know, and so we're exclusive to one another.
right.
So now we can find out what direction is this relationship going to go.
Exactly. 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 Right. Because now the problem I see with this generation, and it's within our generation as well. I think that we were more understanding about some of these things, and we still have a lot of trauma that goes on with a lot of this because and the biggest problem in the dating aspect is that people are not truthful about what they want or what they're doing. They say that they
Hmm.
want a relationship, or they say they want to, in the courtship, they want to be exclusive. And then
Hmm.
when something happens within that time they no longer want that, and then they're not honest about it. They don't tell their
Hmm.
partner the truth. And that's what
Right.
I believe is causing a lot of problems and a lot of hurt feelings and a lot of things that has passed on through, generations, it seems like, because, they rather just go out there and do something else and don't tell the person that they're with. And then that person has to find out about it. And that,
Yes.
that
Yes.
yeah. And, and that's bad blood. If you no longer
Hmm.
want to be in a relationship, tell that person you no longer want to be in a
Yes.
relationship. You
You
can't
have to be
have
honest. You got to be honest.
right, right. You have to be honest. In this whole thing about dating and courtship and things like that. First of all, before you even date anyone, I think the common practice should be before you even date anyone, know who you are. That's step one. Know
Right.
who you
Right.
are. And then the second part is know what you want. What do you want out of this relationship? If you're going out and you want to meet somebody and things, what do you want? Is your thing to be in a long term relationship? If not, and you just want to just be, hit it and quit it, then that's fine.
Hmm.
That's you. That's
That,
you. Then
that's the
fine.
thing. That's it. That's it. Honesty, when it comes to dating and or courting, you have to be honest. It's best policy. Honesty is the best policy. You have got to be
That's
honest
right.
and put your cards on the table. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And then when you said that you get the first step, getting to know who you are. Obviously, that's correct. You need to know who
Hmm.
you are, what your expectations are of yourself, so that that could be your guideline. As look, if I'm not going to deal with this for me, I'm not going to deal with it coming from another person.
Right. Exactly.
I put it this way: you say things
Hmm.
that people want to hear.
Right.
So in that process of getting to know that person, oh, he or she may want a long-term relationship. right? And I'm
Mhm.
putting it
Right.
both ways. I don't want this to be a
Mhm.
lopsided thing. So he or she, they'll
Right.
say things just to get what they want.
Right.
So when it comes, bottom line is mostly, I believe the reason why people date is that because they want to have intercourse.
Right.
You know, they want. I think that's the goal for most people who date.
Mhm. Right.
And if they run into a person who they're dating a person or talking to a person who says, "Well, listen, you know, they kind of like don't want to be involved in a sexual relationship. They want to kind
Mhm.
of get to know you before they cross that line." You
Mhm.
know, and you don't say, "Well, you know, I'm gonna do what I'm." It goes to women too. I'm going to finesse him. I'm going to say what you want to hear. Tell
Right.
you what you want to hear based
Mhm.
on what I know about you, so that you can give in
Right.
to what I
Mhm.
want. And
Exactly.
once I get what I want, bye bye. And that's
Exactly.
what you talked about, the hurt feelings and the eating of the hurt feelings come in because now you the person wasn't honest with
Exactly.
you. You know what I mean? So now
Exactly.
you're misrepresenting yourself because you
Mhm.
know you letting your representative
Right.
to be that person, that prospective person that they may like or not like. You said, that's the person that says and does everything correctly. But
Ex-
the end game is I want to swoop in
right.
and get what I want. And after I get what I want, I'm out.
Exactly.
So if
Exactly.
you want to be in a sexual relationship, say it.
Right.
Be
Exactly.
honest.
Right. And it right. It doesn't even have to be that it's the sexual aspect of it. Women do it all the time as well. Okay, so I want this, I want that. So they go about it from the finance way. They see somebody
Mm-hmm.
who has money or able
Yes.
to do certain things. They really not feeling him like that. But they want to go out to the nice restaurant. They want to go out, they
Yeah.
want
Mm-hmm.
some new shoes. They want their hair and nails done and things like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
So they play the role of like, oh yeah, I really like you, whatever, and
I
all kind of
like
stuff like that.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, and how
Until they
and
get what they
use
want.
guys to get what they want. So men are not the only one that just look at
Yeah.
the men have a thing that they want from women and things, and
And
women
women
have
have
a
that
thing that they
for the women.
right, that thing for men.
In both aspects, generally speaking, both men and women are users of each other in that perspective to get what they want.
Exactly.
You know, like I said, yeah, because
Exactly.
I look at it like this.
Right.
When it comes to dating, if you can't afford to go to that restaurant by yourself, don't expect nobody else to take you.
Exactly.
If you should be able to get your own hair and your own nails done yourself.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? And that goes back to the point that you made, getting to know yourself.
Yes.
Because
Mhm.
you get to know who you are, you can do for yourself. You're
Exactly.
dating someone or wanting to be with someone is because you want some type of companionship, not because they
Right.
can take you to Red Lobster or to the latest five-star restaurant. You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
from a man's perspective, it's not, you know, oh, she can cook.
Mhm.
She can cook. She can do this, that, whatever. I want to, lay down with her because that's how most men think. They want to lay down with a woman. You know what I mean? Because
Right. Right.
that to me, that's one thing that most men want.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
they'll manipulate the situation until they get what they want.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. Exactly. And women do the same thing. They manipulate men to get exactly what they want.
Mhm.
And the thing is that everybody wants to play a game. And the problem is a lot of times what happens is that one or the other don't know that that person is playing a game, or it has changed from a game. Now it's no longer that, and then things start getting serious. But the problem is the one person is still in the same spot while you done moved on to another section. So you haven't told,
Mhm.
neither one of you had talked to each other to tell each other, I no longer feel
Anything.
this way.
Right.
or things. And then when they come and tell you, I no longer feel this way, I want this to be different, you don't be honest with them and tell them, well, I don't have those feelings, and things, and then sever it right then and there. You rather drag it on, and then the person finds out, because again, you're still in the point of how you started the relationship. I'm getting what I want, and that's what I'm getting, and it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter what you want. It's what I want.
That's it.
We started
As
this
long
off
as I'm
this
good, as
way,
long as
and that's where it's gonna go.
you're being selfish. You're being selfish.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So I noticed I had to look up the word situationship, which was so funny. So it says
Mm-hmm.
situationship, because I've heard that plenty of times, is between the space between a relationship and is more than a casual friendship or a friendship with benefits arrangement, but it lacks the clear definition, commitment, or labels of a traditional romantic relationship. So basically, yeah,
All that is a fancy word, another way of saying friends with benefits.
the
No, you're not my
benefits.
boyfriend. No, no, you're not my girlfriend. I'm gonna get what I get, and I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no hard
Exactly.
feelings. You're not. We don't have that connection. I can
Right.
quote. Let's give you real. This is the porch and the pulpit. It's the
Right.
booty call.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, it's
Exactly.
creeping in the midnight hour. That's what
Right.
that is.
Right.
All
And
that,
the pro. Right.
come that that's how the world looks at
E-
that whole thing. So they tend to rename things to fit the narrative of the generation that we are in right now. So that's
Right.
why they be like, oh, it's a situation shit. But the old school people be
Exactly.
like, nah, man, that's a one night
Mhm.
stand. That's free with benefit. That's what we called it back in the day. Bible says
Exactly.
there is
Exactly.
nothing new under the sun. Nothing new. It all
Right.
different names, different names, same game. Different names,
Exactly. The
same
problem,
game.
right, right. So what the problem is just the same thing that we were talking about. So people present situations, they looking for a situationship, but they come to you presenting like they trying to do a relationship, or they trying to
Exactly.
date, or they trying to do a courtship. So really what they want is a situationship, but they know you won't go for that. So what they'll do is send their representative to then, get you to say all the right things to make you think you're going down the courtship or relationship
Mm-hmm.
aspect of it. And then, but no, what you're looking for is the situationship. And that's where now you're wondering why your tires are flat and your windows busted out because you
Well,
went.
you don't wait, and you piss somebody off. You don't wait and piss somebody off. Got them all
Exactly.
mad. Now they got there was a Jasmine Sutherland. Jasmine Sullivan had a song talking about she was
Yeah.
busting your windows in your
Bust the
car,
windows
something like
out your
that.
car.
Bust your windows.
Exactly.
And my thing is like this: in 2026, we have to be careful going out dating. Not we, and I'm married, so I'm not dating no more. If anybody I'm dating my wife. That's what we're gonna be doing.
Hmm.
But going
Right.
out here and trying to manipulate and mislead and then manipulating people, that will get you in a whole heap of trouble. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? So you hear the stories, you see the stories, you see the videos. Oh, a
Exactly.
woman got spurned. They did all types of crazy things. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Hmm. Exactly.
All
It
because
is.
you want to manipulate someone or somebody rejected you and said, "Nah, I'm good."
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yes, some crazy
Yeah.
stuff going on.
Yeah. So
So
we want to switch the lanes a little bit now. We want to talk about how it is for Christian dating and the aspect of Christian dating. Because when Live Avery were both Christians, and Avery was saying that he doesn't specifically go to someone and date someone who's a Christian, and La said that, she's intentional about dating a Christian. A lot of times when the church just like when it comes to sexual activities and things like that, what it looks like to date, has to be, different if you're going on the lines of you want to be, intentional as a Christian in dating. And
Right.
in being intentional as a Christian in dating means that how it looks is you might like somebody and things like that, and you go out on a date one on one. But in order for temptation to not get in there, you have to go, do things. You do things as a group. Another aspect that we talk about when we're talking about dating is because when I asked Avery about, him being a Christian and him dating people that are not a Christian, and I know you wanted to get into the aspect of, being unequally yoked and what that means and
Hmm.
what that looks like. So we're going to look into the scripture of being unequally yoked.
Okay, so let's look at that and see what it says. Is that Second Corinthians?
Yes, Second
That
Corinthians 6:14.
right. Okay.
So the scripture
So
says, Second Corinthians 6:14, do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship has righteousness with lawlessness? And what communion has light with darkness?
mhm. So basically, a lot of churches, they people in church, they throw this scripture around. I mean,
Mm.
they really toss it about. I think this scripture is quoted and put out there more so than John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave
Yes.
His only begotten. You understand?
Yes.
They're like, because when it comes to relationship, the first thing they say, unevenly yoked,
Yes. Yes.
and that is not the script. That is not the scripture.
Yes.
That's the first thing.
Yes.
Do not be
Okay.
unevenly yoked.
Unequally yoked. Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's unequally
Equally. Yes.
yoked.
Unequally yoked.
Okay,
Okay.
that's what that is. That's the first thing. Then they get this interpretation of the scripture as is incorrect. Because in a nutshell, when you say do not be unequally yoked
Mm-hmm.
together, that means basically make sure that the person that you are intending to be with and or dating had a relationship with God.
Mm.
That the person that you are dating
Uh-huh.
has a relationship with God. That is very important,
Yeah.
okay, to have a relationship with God. Because that sets the tone for your dating,
Yes.
okay? Now,
Mm-hmm.
it could be, do they know, have they accepted God as their personal Savior? Do they know God in the partner of their sin?
Mm-hmm.
Even more than that, do they even believe in God?
Right.
Right? So you need someone who's on your level spiritually. Now they don't have to have the same amount of faith that you have, because you can have mountain faith and they can have mustard seed faith. That's not what we're talking about here. The thing is, do you know Jesus?
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. So what the church does is they put emphasis on, you know other things.
Mm.
If they, and the world does it too, because the world quotes this scripture too, and they don't even know what they're talking about.
Right.
Because if you have a foundation of Christ in your life, oh, so when you talk about, oh, don't be unequally yoked,
Mm-hmm.
they say, oh, he ain't on your level.
Right.
She's not on your level.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, he gotta come. He gotta come with the car. He gotta come with the
Mm.
house. He gotta come with the six figure salary. And one of the things you're gonna touch on is she got to be well endowed. Yes, I said it. She got to look a
Right.
certain way. Got to have all of these things. Now, mind you, you looking, by their definition, you looking for all this stuff, all this materialistic stuff, all this superficial stuff, and you don't have your own stuff together. But you want this person to bring everything to you. Ain't how that works. That's not
Right.
what that means.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we need to stop telling people that, oh, they ain't on your level. They got to be on your level. He got to make all this money, be able to. He got to have the house. All right. So when you come, everything will be there, ready and waiting for you, and you don't have your house.
Right.
You living in the room, but you want somebody with a house. You riding a bicycle, and you want somebody with a car. You want all this stuff to come into you, and you're trying to, oh, that's say nothing. No. If they have God in their life, and they know who Christ is, that means they can treat you with the respect and the decency and the grace and the mercy that God offers. Amos, book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3. It's going to solidify what we're talking about here.
Okay, so it says, can two walk together unless they are agreed?
Okay? So now, you come in here, you got this thing to where, oh, the man or they got to have all this other stuff, and you don't have nothing.
Right.
You're not walking in agreement. You're not walking in agreement.
Right.
That's not, and that's not what unequally yoked means. It refers to your spirituality. Again, if you got God as your core, as your base, and you know Christ as in the partner of your sin, that's the foundation of every relationship. Not only a relationship with God, but a relationship with people, a relationship with your intended.
Right.
All right, knowing who God is. It ain't about your pocketbook. It ain't about what you can bring to the table. If I can bring God to the table, He is the table.
Nice. That's
God
right.
is the table. You
Right.
told him, what can I bring to the table? If I come to you and I say, well, I'm a Christian and I've been born again. I believe Jesus died on the cross for my sins, and I love me some Jesus, and you tell me, well, I don't know about all that God stuff. I don't even believe in God. That's your red flag right there.
Right.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Because when you get into those types of situations and you understand that this person does not know God, that relationship may not be for you.
Right. Exactly.
You understand? Now the other aspect of that is, like my nephew had said that he'll date Christian and non-Christian people, but at the end of the day, he would like for them to come and get to know Christ, not because he is a Christian, but because it's felt led to.
Yes.
That could be a different scenario because he's not pushing religion on them. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about unequally yoked, you got to get the right definition and meaning of what that means.
Exactly. You have two people and they're two different religions. Because you have two different religions, and if you practice and worship in two different ways, you don't come together when it comes to decisions and things like that. Even when you have children, people had issues with that because they know where the children going to worship. Christianity is pretty much a thing where we can go and or not go, or we can worship in different ways, whereas some religions, it's a practice. It's a definite practice. You have to, do certain things. You have to convert. You have to do whatever for those religions and things like that. So, the scripture also has compared to that and has been compared to that as well. These are things that you need to talk about if you are a Christian and you're talking about dating somebody who's non-Christian or doesn't believe in God altogether. How are you going to come together and things like that. And then because anything, you're going to church
Mhm.
every Sunday, you reading your Bible and everything, that person is frustrated and don't understand why you doing all the things that you're doing. And all of this is going into the dating. So you constantly having a problem with that in the
Right.
relationship. There's a difference between, like you said, believing in God and knowing that he died on the cross or whatever for your sins and not be maybe going to church. Okay? There's
Right.
a difference because again, and then you have to be intentional if you are a person and that is what your lifestyle is. Like I said, when I met my husband, I was at church. I was at church Wednesday,
Mhm.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, two
Yeah.
services on
Right.
Sunday.
Mhm.
That's where I was gonna be.
The
So
ultimate church man.
right. That's where you was gonna meet me at. He is
Right.
already right. He already was introduced to Christ and everything. So it wasn't a thing. So because that's where I was, that's where he wanted to be. And that's where he then recommitted himself. And that's where we went
Mhm.
on from there. So there are different scenarios, but the key thing is that they have to be introduced to Christ or they have to be interested in being introduced to
Right.
Christ
Right.
if they don't
Right.
know him, because your light can shine and just like you can go up to anybody on the
Exactly.
street
Exactly.
and
Yes.
because
Exactly.
our
Right.
job is to go out as a Christian and worship
Mhm.
with one another. And that was the thing that I had with my daughter. You can't turn somebody away because your light could be so strong or your light or
Mhm.
God shining through you that somebody will see that light and then say, I want to know the God that you know. So I'm not going to knock
Right.
off somebody just because they don't know, but
Right.
they
Just
have to
because
be
they don't.
willing
Right.
to want to know.
But you have to be You have to be willing. And I see that because it's different scenario. Because a person
Yes,
could be willing to want to know the God that you serve. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Have an interest in the God that you serve. You
Exactly,
know,
because our
and
job,
so that.
right. We talked about our job is, going out there into the highways and byways and telling people about Christ. And we're witnessing to the person that we with. We're witnessing, to that person who's a non-believer and he sees us. That might be your mate, and
Mhm.
you have knocked him off because he don't know, but he didn't know. He wasn't introduced to him. So now you don't introduce Christ to him. Now it's like, oh, or her. And now it's like, oh, I want to get to know that God that you know. I want to see how, your testimony, you
Mhm.
now being friends with them or whatever leads on to other things. There are plenty of relationships that have started out of dating and things like that. So, but yes,
Right.
like you said, that scripture is knowing Christ. You know it. You
Mhm.
know within yourself that you know him so that whoever you attract will also be somebody who's willing to know him.
Right. And so you get to that point to where that is like that's even ground. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Because you could be like I said, you could be a light to someone else to say, listen, I want to get to know God like you know God. And then
exactly.
it's a genuine thing. You know what I
Right.
mean? And you can see it. Because the spirit will tell you. You can see it. People need to understand what that scripture really means instead of just
Yes.
putting it out in a superficial way. It's just
Yes.
about somebody that believes the way you believe, who lives the way that you live. You know what I mean? And maybe a
Right.
person who wants to, but they just don't know how. Nobody ever came to them and said, "This is what you need to do."
Ex-
Uh, um, Dating in its infancy is so
y-
important because you get
Yes.
to know a person. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? So you're getting to know a person.
Uh-huh.
It says in the scripture, unequally yoked.
Right.
When you yoke together, that means you're like this.
Yes.
You understand? You're
Uh-huh.
like this when you yoke together. When
Yes.
you're dating, you're like this.
Right. That's supposed to be.
You're like this. Supposed to be.
Right.
I say,
Yes. Yeah.
you're supposed to be like this.
Yes.
So,
Uh-huh.
but when you get entangled with somebody, you're
Yes.
getting yoked up, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're in a vice
Yes.
grip. You're in a relationship of intimacy.
Right.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So now, oh my God, you find out that that person is not all they cracked up to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it kind of you get in a situation now you like this. and you praying to God to get you out of that
Yes.
yoke
Mm-hmm.
of bondage. So you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be in that type of thing. That's really what that scripture means. So if you're dating a person who is not Christian, but you're talking to them and you guys are, getting to know each other, and he comes to the church and you invite him to the church and he comes, that can be God working on him to get him to know who he is.
Right.
But when you yoke up with somebody, I'm gonna break it down like a fraction. When you get into a relationship of intercourse with a person,
Mm-hmm.
that's a yoke.
Yes.
You come together.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yep.
So now all of that stuff is working together and it has no fellowship because there's light and darkness, flesh and spirit warring against one another.
Right.
I look at it like you got to look at it from different perspectives. I don't exclusively date Christians. I got news for you.
Mm. Not
Everybody
every
who say they're Christian ain't Christian.
nigga ain't Christian. Exactly.
Everybody who say they say.
That's right.
So that's why you got to put yourself in a situation of getting to know who you are in God and letting God
Yes.
lead you to who He wants you to be with. Okay, the Bible says, if a man who findeth a wife findeth a good thing. All right. So when
Mm-hmm.
you find a wife, you find a wife, you find a good thing. That means you obtain the favor of God, right? A woman
Yes.
who
Yes.
prepares herself to be a wife, she's in a state of preparedness. She's making herself available.
Yes.
So she's not just
Yes.
in the house all the time praying and asking God for a man, because a man ain't gonna knock on your door.
Exactly.
For all intents and purposes, you ain't gonna just knock on your door. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So you got to go out and you got to prepare yourself and be out there so the man can find you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to walk a certain way too. You got to have God in you. So
Yes.
those like minds can meet. Those like spirits can meet. Those spirits of God can meet.
Exactly.
So you could attract one another. But when you become unequally, you already did the deed. That's why you unequally yoked, because you said, okay, you let your flesh
Exactly.
jump ahead of you of what God wanted intended for you.
Right. Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah, don't be
Mm-hmm.
unequally yoked.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk to them because they're not saved. But
Right.
then you go and date this one over here that because you say, oh, he saved, and he say he saved, he go to church, but then flipping around, he ain't got no type of relationship with God.
Exactly.
That's because
Exactly.
you don't went to something that wasn't for you, something that
Right.
God didn't ordain for you.
E-
You say, no, I'm gonna go and find out. I want to
Right.
find out for myself.
Exactly.
I want to find out for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right,
yeah.
right, and or you think that you can change somebody. You think that you can, get
Mm.
them to see your point of view. We have free will. We have to come to we can't get anybody into heaven. They have to get there themselves. They have to walk down that aisle and accept Christ for themselves. So what makes you think that you can go and change that person to God does the changing. We don't do the changing. He does the changing. And when he does it well. When we talked about this, about being single. When you're single, are you happy in the singleness, or are you constantly miserable in the singleness? Because in the
Right.
singleness, you get to see things, you get to know yourself. You get to know what you like, what you don't like. You get to go places you probably wouldn't get to go if he was with somebody else, or you got into the
Yes, yes.
situation, or you got somebody else. They said people in the church and everything like that, they want to push it up like you just so miserable being single. Okay, we're gonna have these ministries and everything and all of that kind of stuff. And it's not so much like when it's the singles that just having fun. It's always throwing up like, okay, we gotta meet and mingle and all of this kind of other stuff with other singles.
Yeah. So
And,
and if yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. I got something to say about that.
there's nothing wrong with meeting and getting together with other singles, but don't just throw it up there like that's the only thing we have a purpose that we got to be just meeting it so that we can attach to somebody else because we got to get married. Again, the
Yeah.
Bible does talk about that some people are not to
Yeah.
get married. Some people are to be
Right.
single. Therefore, and when you're single, that relationship is for in that time of singleness. If it's for his desire for you to get married, what is happening in that time as a Christian? Your connection to him is getting stronger. You are working on your relationship with him, not that you just
Mm-hmm.
out there just being miserable.
Exactly.
They just
Exactly.
consider
Now,
like you
now,
just need to be miserable.
um, yeah. So, here's the thing. So when you look at that, right?
Mhm.
You said the ministry, single ministry at the church.
Mhm.
From my experience, from what I saw, they don't teach you about embracing your singleness. Just like
Mhm.
like you said, their goal is to get you married.
Right.
Their goal is to get you not to embrace your sin. I'm going to tell you the truth, and this from my experience. When I was single and I attended single ministry.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
not once did they pull up the scripture that talked about when Paul was talking about he wishes that other people would be as he was, being single. About God can use you more effectively when you're single. And the reason why that
Yes.
is because you don't have all of the responsibilities of a married person. You can go and come as you please. You understand? You when you're single, and you don't have nobody saying, okay, well, I got to check and see if I can go. I can't go on
Right.
vacation. I got to figure out
Mhm.
what my husband is doing, what the kids is doing. I got to put the dog in where the dogs go. You understand? But when you're
Right.
single, you were like, okay, boss, I put in for my vacation on XYZ. I'm out. You can pick your bag up and go. When it comes to ministry, and you have to go to this meeting or that meeting, and you got to go preach this service, you got to go minister at that service, you can get up and be like, okay, I'm ready to go, as the Lord leads you. Notice
Okay.
I said, as the Lord leads you. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So you're
Right.
doing okay, but the basis of that is you don't have the responsibilities of being a married person because being in a marriage is a ministry in of itself.
It,
So when you
yes.
go to the single conferences, they should be teaching you how to embrace your single life and
Exactly.
be able to worship God in your singleness because God can use you effectively in your singleness.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have all of this and that and the third going on with you with a marriage. Now, don't get me wrong, God did ordain marriage, but we're talking about single
Yeah.
dating people, Christian singles.
Right.
God can use you while you're single.
Yes.
Now, if it's a
Exactly.
desire for you to be married, that's a whole other thing. But we need to teach the right thing in the right circles. Let people embrace. Listen, I put it like this: we tell our young people, embrace your youth.
Yes.
Don't be in a rush.
Mhm. Right.
Uh, you be old to be grown. You ain't ready for all that bills and rent and stuff. So we're telling the same thing to single people. Don't be in a rush to get married. That's a whole nother ball game, whole nother arena.
Right.
Enjoy your
Mhm.
singleness.
Yes.
Let God use you while you're
Yes.
single. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So don't get upset because you're single. And I understand that there is a desire, a built-in desire that we have, especially with men towards women, because that we not be alone, because God didn't create us to be alone. He gave us that companionship.
Mhm.
But God can also use us in our singleness.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yes. Exactly. Well, James, I think this was a good discussion on dating. I enjoyed this very much.
I like it too. I like it too. It's very. I love it. I love it because listen, you serve an awesome God. So
Yes,
and
we
these things
do.
need to be talked about
Yes.
in depth. Because every
Yes.
church is not doing it, and God has given us a platform just to not to try to convince people to do certain things, but to show you that there is another way. I think yeah, that was
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. All righty. So again, we'd like to thank you for joining us on another episode of the Porch and the Pulpit. Again, like, share, comment. We look forward to your comments and everything, and we hope that you like the series on dating. We're gonna go on from here and stay in the relationships and different aspects. Another aspect of dating we're gonna deal with them next week, and then we're gonna go into marriage. So we hope that you stay tuned and that you look for
Yes, yes. Thank you for pulling up a chair with us and joining us. Thank you for joining us. I'm gonna